Only one kid in history had ever attempted what Benny was about to. And he got eaten. So we were worried. Real worried. Even when Benny brought out the secret weapon. Shoes guaranteed to make a kid run faster and jump higher. PF Flyers.
We can't let him do this, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is the Slate Laced podcast. Happy Hump Day. Blair, how we doing?
We good.
We good?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can't complain. We doing good. We got a movie review for you. Mm-hmm. If you watched last week's episode, you know what we're about to dive into. Mm-hmm. Just please note that there's gonna be spoilers ahead, because we're gonna pick it apart a little bit. Look, I think we're on opposite sides of the fence due to brief conversations we had.
Not necessarily.
Did we hit up Ledge? Does he know that we may just give him a ring-a-ding? Or?
No, I don't know if he knows.
I'm going to shoot him a little text right now. But
okay.
Anyways, Deep Water, Blair. Let me get into the synopsis first.
Okay.
Deep Water. A well-to-do husband allows his wife to have multiple affairs in order to avoid divorce, becomes a prime suspect in the disappearance of her lovers. All right. It's starring Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas. Mm-hmm. Not sure if I'm saying that right. Yeah. But, so she's been in Knives Out. That's pretty much where I knew her from.
She's in the last James Bond movie, too.
Oh, yeah. See, I'm not a Bond, but you was Bonded out. You was Bond. You was one with Bond. Absolutely. And, you obviously know Ben Affleck from Anything and Everything.
Yeah.
While I shoot this off, Blair, initial thoughts.
I thought it was fire.
No, initial thoughts.
Yeah.
Oh.
I saw the trailer.
Me too. Okay, keep going. Sorry.
From what I saw, it looked fire. Like, the trailer was looking crazy. I remember this is one of the few, like, I thought I low-key beat you to it. Because you know how you was, like, watch Deep Water. I didn't connect that was the movie. I had initially seen the trailer. I think it was like on IG or something a while back, and I remember looking at this and I was like, "Yo, this thing about to be crazy." You know, it started off one of the opening shots. He's like just peeking from like the top of the party through a window, and he sees his girl like making out with somebody. I'm like, "Yo, this is about to be crazy. I'm ready for this." You know. Mm-hmm. And then I don't know, like it never registered to me that was Deep Water, and then you were like, "We should watch Deep Water," and then I went ahead and watched it on Hulu, and then I was like, oh, dang, this is the movie that I saw the trailer to and was looking really good. But my initial thoughts was I thought the movie was fire. Yeah. It was going to be fire. You're right. That's what I should say.
See, I'm right there with you. I thought it was going to be fire. But I saw a different trailer. So I saw like an aspect of it where she's like talking to him in the grass, like, why are you the only man? And it was different. So I was going with the more mysterious aspect. And
that's kind of good too.
Exactly. And then, so I'm like, oh, this is going to be a mystery thriller. And then people in the comments were like, Gone Girl vibes. So I'm thinking they may have known something. So I'm like, oh, I'm excited. Like, this is about
Gone Girl vibes,
Yeah. I'm like, it's about to be crazy. Like, nutty and all that. So I was excited too. And I just, I was ready for like a mystery type thriller. Okay. Centered around a couple doing what they got to do. I didn't really know where it was going to go, but I was very, very excited to see it. So with that said, I mean, Blair, what you want to start with? Pros, cons, good, bad, ugly?
We can start with the pros.
With the pros. All right. So let's get into those pros. Blair, you're going to have to lead us off on this one.
Okay.
Because look, I don't know.
I liked the lack of dialogue that the film did have. Everyone knows by now, if you watch our film side of the podcast, I'm a big no dialogue guy.
You're on that silent film.
Can you convey a message? Can you get everything across to us without saying it, right? How clever, how creative can you get, for me, right? Because sometimes I see dialogue and it feels senseless. Sometimes I just feel like, right, what truly is the purpose with this dialogue here, Yeah. It just seems like they're talking just to talk. So if you can cut all that out and then still somehow give dialogue but make it seem realistic, you're giving the dialogue because we need the information, but not feeling like you're forcing the information, man, you really hit the ground running for me.
Yeah.
So for me, the lack of dialogue on this one was pretty solid. I was like digging it, and I definitely knew it. Like I was like,
It definitely added to that whole mystery aspect of the, because the film starts out, we'll get into it, but you kind of don't really the plot don't appear, but we'll get into that later. But go ahead.
So I'm watching it. I'm like, oh, we not talking, right? Because you know how initially like you're watching the film and
it's your standard just chat.
Right. You going through the credits and things like that, and you just like, okay, oh yeah, they not talking, but you're not really noticing it. And then like 15 minutes go by, and you're like, yeah, ain't nobody gonna say something, huh? I like this. Okay, now I'm locked in. I'm like, okay, here we go. So that was a very, very big positive for me. I think we took two very brilliant actors and we put them together as well. So I think that they had a great choice between those two coming together. Arna was dope.
Anna.
What do you mean?
Anna?
It's Arna de Armas.
Anna de Armas. Yeah, it's not no R in the first name.
Okay.
Look.
Okay. Okay. Anna it is. Okay. Anyways, so Arna, whatever, right? She was very good, right? I mean, she had me hating her like from beginning to end, And I always feel like that's the sign of
you did your job. You
did your job, right? Like I'm watching and I'm like, I just do not like you. She gotta go, right? Like that's how I was watching the movie. And I don't feel like there's too many moments or instances where I'm watching films these days and I'm truly like rooting for someone to fail. I think the last one for me is when we all went and saw The Invisible Woman, right? It's not really often that I'm just sitting up there like, man, she gotta go. Like get her. That's how I felt when I was watching. So bravo to her for really, really bringing that part to life. And on top of that, for bringing that part to life, right? Like to be able to bring all of that, again, without dialogue, right? She's not saying necessarily anything that is making you hate her. It's just strictly action-based. Everything she does is all actions. And then like her looks, her grimaces, her stares are just like, yeah, they got a special place for you, right? And then... Ben was very good as well, right? So my other, pro was just like the way he played that one out though, right? It's just he really makes himself seem like he's being victimized, and he's doing it like, man, you're just like, I feel for that guy. Which also leads to the writing where I think it's a pro and a con. But I think that in this instance right here, the writing was good for this specific what I'm talking about, right? With these two characters and their relationship, I think was very well written, right? Because just the way the actions and everything had played themselves out, you're like, okay, pretty good. But again, with that being a pro, there is also a con to me with the writing. But I did want to initiate that was a pro for me. Another pro for me is the runtime. The film's not even long. I went and looked it up and did like a little, not necessarily research, but just got some of the technical specs and stuff before we sat down. And it said the movie was 2 hours and 33 minutes, but that wasn't the case because we saw it and I think it was only like an hour and 54.
Yeah, it didn't feel 2 hours.
It showed it on Google.
Hour 55.
Yeah. See, I already had it. You know me. I know what an hour and 50 feel like. So
you know what 2 hour feel like.
I definitely know what 2 hours feels like. So for me, that runtime was like perfect. It was definitely solid. So for me, those are some pretty good positives for me. I do like the overall mood as well. I'm a big mood guy. It was very moody. It definitely felt like we were up in like the Pacific Northwest, definitely like Washington, Portland type area. It felt like it would be raining all the time, even if it never rained in the film, which I don't believe it actually did, but it always felt like it was giving you that vibe. It felt wet outside, right? It just felt moody. It felt depressing, but then at the same time, it felt dark. as well. Like you just felt like there was going to be something more, that there was something that was really going to happen at a certain point in time in this film. So those were the positives for me.
All right, before I get into my positives, let me just say real quick, sorry. It was co-written by Zach Helm and Sam Levinson. Sam Levinson may sound familiar because he writes and directs Euphoria. Okay. So he's a big deal right now. And then it's directed by Adrian Lin. Not sure who that is, but shout out to Sam Levinson. It's nice to see him like getting some little steady work here. And obviously he's cranking out projects because Euphoria's topping the charts, and then this one, it did what it did. Mm-hmm. But pros for me, I'm gonna do a little something different, just specifically because I don't have a lot. I'm gonna go with a scene.
Okay.
I have basically no pros for this movie, but there was one scene that I liked throughout, and it was when Ben Affleck is talking to her first affair, the first guy that she's having an affair with. And he's just like, yeah, so that's why I killed him. And they're talking about the guy has been dead and missing for a long time. No one knows what happened to him. But they know that Ben Affleck's wife, Anna, in this movie, has been connected to him. They have had an affair. All of a sudden, he's just missing. So Ben is definitely trying to strong-arm her newest piece of eye candy or whatever you want to call it, her newest boo. And basically get him to run away. And he gets shook. At first, he's not buying it. He's like, yeah, man. He's like, what's funny? I killed him. And so just that moment of that eerie feeling, like that was the first thing to me that popped off in the movie.
Okay.
Because before that, it's just like, what is going on? What is the point? Where are we at? And I'll get into that next when we go to the cons. But that was the first moment where I think the pot thickened, things started happening. That was pretty much what was the catalyst for the movie. So I like that scene, and that was literally my only positive. I have no other positives aside from that scene where Ben Affleck brought his A game acting wise. He kind of made you like, oh snap, like I had that kind of reaction. I'm like, oh, you're a little crazy, huh? Because at first he's just going, what? And he's all cheerful, and they're like, your wife, and he's like, yeah, like, is it funny? I don't know. But so before that moment, he's just acting like everything's all good, and then you see that her actions do get to him. So that was a cool scene, and so that's basically all I got.
So you don't even like how the movie didn't really waste time? It really got right into it?
I don't think it got right into it. Like, as far as
it went right into the party.
But look, basing off what I'm thinking this movie's gonna be about, I'm confused. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking thriller, so I'm like, okay, she's just hooking up with dudes. Mm-hmm. So I'm just like, look. So what are we doing here? Mm-hmm. And then everybody's confronting him about it, and he's just like, nah, it's good. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, what is the movie about?
Mm-hmm. Well, underlying...
Yeah, let's go into the cons with that. So go...
It didn't... The plot wasn't really strong enough for me, I think would be probably the biggest con. When you're watching this film, I think that you're expecting it to go a certain way, and I don't think it necessarily goes that way, right? So when you think about films and plots, right, you're like, okay, so what we already understand is the wife is having multiple affairs over a vast period of time, right? And he's aware of them, but he doesn't want to necessarily he doesn't necessarily want to put her in this box of being a traditional wife, I guess is what is his mindset, right? So he's allowing her to go out here and have like relationships, but at the same time he's like very naive in a way as well, because I remember in the beginning he was like, oh, well, she's not really like cheating, is she like having sex? And then it was like, I think once he was like kind of really finding out that she was, he really was starting to feel some certain way about it, and it was really, starting to get to him, right? But with all that being said, that now should create some sort of plot, and we should start to move forward with the film, and we should start to head somewhere, right? But the thing is that we didn't necessarily go anywhere. All we really were getting was she'd have a relationship. It didn't work because you're married, so it's kind of hard to have a relationship. But it's like in her mind, she didn't respect her husband enough, so every time a guy came along, she was expecting him to sort of like take her to the promised land and allow her to go somewhere else so that she could actually exit the relationship that she's in. And then, of course, all he would do, Ben Affleck would do, is then just kill that guy, and then she'd jump onto the next one essentially the very next day, and then he would kill that one. And you just sort of repeat the process, right? But the reason that this becomes a con is because when you're watching the film, you're like, where are we actually going with this? Will there be consequences for his actions? Is there something that he's supposed to be learning with this? You know, is she gonna like be the type that's gonna fight back and maybe, you know, what am I looking for? Just more of like she's gonna liberate herself and like maybe kill him type thing, right? But we never really got that in the film. So I think you're just kind of, what it feels like is Boyhood-ish, right? Where it's you're going through the life of someone that is currently living an untraditional relationship on this planet Earth, right? Like most people would not be okay with their spouse or significant other constantly cheating, you know, but he is okay with it. And I believe he's okay with it because of how extremely attractive that she is, that he just feels like, you know, well, if I box her in, she's actually going to leave. But if you do pay attention a little bit in the beginning and in the middle, she mentions that she wants to be reined in, you know, and if she can be reined in, she's going to respect you more. But I guess then he's playing the mind games with her. And I think he's realizing that she's not necessarily going to actually do that. So he's just like spineless is what she's saying. So there's like a lot of things that are actually happening there that can be digested. But as the whole overall, it just doesn't seem like it's necessarily going somewhere, right? And the plot isn't necessarily pushed forward. Mm-hmm. You know, you're just sort of seeing some things happen. And then like, obviously, it's like A plus B equals C, right? So like, you know, people do begin to get suspicious and then they do attempt to like try to figure things out. But then like the investigator no longer appears after one scene, right? The neighbor's the neighbor's husband, all of a sudden he just pops up at the end, right? It's just like random things that like don't seem to really make sense.
Yeah, no, I agree on those points, but for me, like, cons, the biggest thing is like this movie was fraudulent. Like I was bamboozled, duped into thinking that something was gonna happen, and it's literally a movie where you want us to just buy into the fact that the main characters are so hot that we're gonna like this film. Mm-hmm. Like, what was it? Mm-hmm. Her having an affair, he killed him. That's the movie. Yeah,
but in the beginning, we don't. It's speculation.
Yeah, whether he's killing him, right? Mm-hmm. So then it reveals to be true. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Thanks for that. Make it a short film, dude. Make it a 30-minute.
Yeah, but then
student film.
But us as the audience, we feel like he's justified. That's what the director.
They want us to kind of fight.
No, they want us to cheer on what he's actually doing, because the way it's playing out is making him look so helpless, right? Because she's just going out there, new man, sleeping with him, flaunting him in his face, and he's like, what do I do with this, right? Mm-hmm. It's just this whole like he's being abused in a way, right? And so
you're giving it a lot of credit, even doing all that, even saying all that. The director wants us to. Yeah. I'm saying it's dull. Like, you're giving him a lot of credit. No, it's A, B. She has an affair. Do I kill him? Yes, I do. That's the movie. Mm-hmm. That's very, like, I'm telling you, they wanted us to buy into that relationship, that we would just be so overwhelmed with her beauty that we would forget that you're not giving us anything. Okay. And the audience is smarter. Like, give us more credit as viewers. Like, some people are going to be okay with that. Mm-hmm. But a lot of us really wanted to see something real, and we didn't. And go.
What's the point of the daughter?
I don't know, actually. To be honest, what was her role? What do you think her role was? To humanize? No, because she wasn't even taking care of her daughter. To humanize Ben? To make it like, well, he's still a great dad because he was a good father.
I think that it was two intelligent people that could really relate with one another.
The little daughter was a little savant, or what?
No, she clearly was. She clearly was, right? The way that
you said, what's the point of the daughter? I said, I actually don't know.
Because she didn't remember when they were at dinner, right? And
so you're doing this to the point that there's more to the movie. That's why you're bringing up the daughter, correct?
I think that the director was trying to head somewhere with this, right? You're just saying that they wasn't trying to do anything, and I'm just like, not necessarily, right? Like,
and let's note real quick that this movie was shot during the pandemic, and they had to come back for reshoots. So I'm giving y'all some leeway, but I think maybe some of the storyline got lost.
Okay, that's understandable.
Go. Yeah.
So they're at the dinner, and they're trying to create some like sort of excuse as to what Ben Affleck does for a living, right? And then the daughter flat out was like, no, that's not what he does. He built the chip. And I'm just like, and for her to be as young as she is to be able to process that and to understand that. And then, how many times that she would actually present information to the dad? Like, what's up with mom?
Yeah.
Mom acts different. She doesn't act the same. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's on it. She's on it. She knows that there's something going on, right? And then, to be real with you, one of my favorite parts of the film always had her in it, right? But my biggest one is when she took the suitcase and threw that mug in the pool and was like, we ain't going nowhere. And it's like, nah, for real, really, where are you guys gonna go, right? And it's not because of who he is, but it's because of who she is, right? Like, wherever she goes, honestly, she's detrimental to any relationship that she gets into. She's honestly very lucky that he chooses to be with her, with how she is, right? We have this clear thing of how she's bothered by something more than what he's doing, right? She's seeing it as, I'm meeting guys somewhat sort of in my age bracket, but they don't really deal with me. And I don't know why they don't deal with me. What is it? What's wrong with me, right? Like, I'm attractive, right? I'm fun to be around, right? Nah, but it goes more than that. It's deeper than that, right? Like, relationships go beyond just the surface level of there's a sexual attraction, right? And so I think it's just so interesting that the daughter is somewhat able to understand this about the mom,
I mean, the daughter, I get what you're saying. Maybe she was in there to try to give the movie some sort of substance, but also she could be looked at like a complete red herring, like just someone to just throw us off completely.
Yeah, but
because she was substance, but still they didn't do it well. I mean, the daughter, you could have cut all that out.
I didn't say that the movie executed, but
I get maybe that's what they were trying to do, but I also think that he just didn't know.
Okay.
That might have been his kid. Let me check if that's Mr. Levinson's daughter. Watch it be though.
But if you think about it, right? Like, okay, so she like when she threw that thing in the water and was like, "We're not going anywhere." I think that even at that point, you got to realize the daughter knows what the dad's been doing, right? She was like, "Just tell the truth. I already know that you kill all the guys that basically mom comes across." And he was like, "What are you talking about?" "No, I don't." And he was she's like, "I know that you do, right?" But she's so aware that this is who her father is, right? But then she's so aware of who her mom is, right? And she understands that the two of them are dysfunctional, but yet they are made for one another, right? And if you think about the scene prior to what I'm talking about, you can see that they finally have this moment where they actually feel like they belong to one another, right? And all Ben Affleck, he's simple, as complex as he is, he's simple. All he wants is this relationship with his wife to work. He is willing to let anything go and anything slide to keep them two together, right? He's not going to divorce her for no matter what she does. All he's going to do is continue to get rid of the men that come into her life and hoping that one day she will just understand that I'm here. I got your back. I love you. I want to be with you forever. As soon as you can realize that, the sooner the better, right? Until then, I'm going to kill everyone else that comes along, right? And then she keeps trying to find replacements, and in this weird way, everyone is not staying, not realizing that they're just dying, but they're not staying, right? And then she's realizing, like, dang, this whole time I had this man standing here waiting for me the whole time, which then leads to my favorite part where she was like, "I saw Tony today." That was dope to me, right?
That was a good part.
Yeah.
I
know what's up.
That was one of the two.
But I feel you though.
That was one of the two moments. Another con for me is the acting. I didn't like it. I thought it was dry. Ben Affleck was raggedy.
Really?
I didn't like him in this at all. He was stoic. I get that's your character, but dude, like you're not doing it for me. She was annoyed, but it might have been like what you said. She might have been doing such a good job that she made me feel annoyed. So
she absolutely did.
I'm not gonna touch on her. But Ben Affleck was dry and raggedy. Pick it up, dude. You're a 40-year vet. Get that together, please. You did do well in that one scene, though. You did. The one that I pointed out, that was my only positive. But aside from that acting and it taking too long, I don't mind the minimal dialogue. That's fine. But, I'm Aaron Sorkin, so I'm team dialogue. But it just took too long to get to the meat of the plot. I'm telling you, I think it really started at that scene when he starts admitting, or not admitting, but, hinting that he killed him, her first little lover. So those were the cons for me. It just took a little bit too long, and I just think the acting was dry. And then the movie as a whole was just fraudulent, unentertaining. I was like, what the heck am I watching? So just very bone dry movie and very unentertaining. And it felt like it was going nowhere.
I'm going to obviously disagree with you, of course, right? Like, I've tried to give a lot of positives about the movie. I tried to say a lot of things. It wasn't necessarily, like, my favorite. Absolutely not. But there was some moments that also I will agree that things happened that were just absolutely stupid, right? So once he goes and he sees the body, he goes back the second time, right? And the wife wakes up and whatever didn't connect that he was going to get the scarf that she said she left, right? The neighbor comes down and is like, hey, what are you doing, right? And then he finally realizes that he is the killer and he was right all along. The driving was absolutely moronic, right? He's like, oh, I'm going to text my wife. What? Like,
that's just movie stuff.
I get that there's foreshadowing when a few scenes prior, when he takes the guy down there to murder him, he says, oh, there's no reception, right? So I get that it's clear as day that, like, they're setting that up so that later he's going to be like, he's not going to be able to make a phone call. But you're not going to sit here and text when you're running for your life from some man that's on a bike that is going to try to kill you, right? And in such a close quarters, right? Because they're racing through the woods and he's driving a Subaru, whatever, get it, all-wheel drive, right? But it's just like, he's not going to be able to sit here and send this long, lengthy message. It's just like the movie, since it didn't hit the way that it should have and should have had the effect that it should have, like it just trickles down through the whole film where it's not truly fleshed out, truly thought out, where you would write something like that in there, because it was absolutely absurd. The fact that he was driving like 50 miles an hour on a small road where you can run off a cliff and you're hitting turns on wet and wet roads, all to say, all he wanted to say was, I told you I was right, he's the killer. If you get out of there alive, then you tell your wife, right? At the most sane thing that somebody would do in that situation is attempt to get on the phone. Whether you have reception or not, you're trying to call the police and then you call your wife. But to be sitting there texting, I told you I was right, so egotistical, Agreed.
Let's get the thoughts from the man, the myth, the legend. Let's see what he's got to say here. He ended up watching it at the same time we did. He had some interesting thoughts, but I think he's more on the fence of not necessarily feeling this film too much. But Ledge, you're on live with the podcast. We're going to put you on a brief hold real quick. Ledge, let me just first ask you, what were your initial thoughts going into this film? Were you hyped? Had you heard about it?
I did not hear about it, but kind of into it. I remember seeing either it or something exactly like it. So
yeah.
I did.
So we had to introduce you to it, but you hadn't seen any trailers or anything like that.
No.
All right, well, give us a little quick breakdown of what you think.
Man, I mean, what is there not to think?
Did you like it? Let's start with that.
Yes.
Oh, you like the movie?
Yes, I actually like it.
Okay, so he's kind of more leaning in your direction. He's more leaning in your direction. Explain, please.
I think...
Because I thought it was trash.
I think that the movie had a lot of different views, you know, to just look at it. That's why I liked it. I liked it because
It did have that. The Blair touched on that. The scenery.
yeah, you know, and just it. I don't like you feel one way and then it draw you back another way, and then it's like, well, you know, like everything. I just feel like everything had a reason, every reaction.
All right. So you thought it was more complex, where I thought it was more simple
I told you.
and dumb. It's not really.
I didn't even put him on that. I told you.
No. That's what. Yeah. This is live. This is live.
Yeah.
So you thought it was more complex.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. All right.
Like a lot of turns. Just it had a lot of emotion, you know.
Yeah.
I know you didn't like her, right? She had you hot too.
Man.
Yeah.
Like for what?
Yeah.
I didn't understand why she did the shit that she did.
Yeah.
Just like at the same time, it's just like I do understand that with that crazy word doesn't come a lot. You know, you gotta want to actually deal with a person.
Yeah, that love is it was getting tested in this movie for sure. The love was getting tested.
You know, so they were toxic in their own little way.
Yeah.
Yes, they were.
That
It definitely was a toxic relationship played out on screen. And I think we touched on those kind of things what was that movie about the baby with Shia LaBeouf? That was kind of reminiscent of this one.
Okay.
With I forgot whatever it's called.
I would argue this one's better.
A woman? Picture of a woman? Something like that though, huh?
Yeah.
Something like that. But anyway, go ahead. We did. Check it out. Pieces of a woman.
Pieces of a woman.
But there we go. So yeah, it was definitely toxic. So you guys, you enjoyed that aspect of it then?
it just brought me, you know what I mean, to a lot of just thoughts, you know. I just felt like for every action that she had, he had a valuable reaction, you know. And
He was reacting all right.
I mean, didn't you feel like he was justified for what he was doing though, right?
I definitely did, on top of the fact that you just don't mess with a married man's wife.
Mm-hmm. Everyone was out of pocket for what they was doing.
Thank you, you know?
Yeah.
And he was just calm and keeping his composure, you know, like, and he was just rubbing it in my face at this point.
Yeah.
He's you,
Yeah.
and then you have this emotion that comes over you.
Mm-hmm.
Or something, because the camera would not zoom into your face
Mm-hmm.
and let me see that you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So if I feel this as a viewer watching this, then I know that this girl feels this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And others looking at her through windows and just, okay, well, that's just fine.
Hey, that had me dead though. When you was watching it and I walked in and you first saw that part, you was like, oh nah, You was like, I already don't like this. You was hot.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you guys kind of, you can get caught up in the gamesmanship of their relationship.
Yeah.
But for me, it's gotta go somewhere.
So here's the thing, right? Sometimes people are watching films that feel relatable, right? So sometimes you're watching a film and like I said, the underlying message, right, is these open relationships and people dealing with like domestic violence and things like that, right? So when you're watching this film and you see specific moments where they've happened to you, you just like, oh yeah, that's how you feel? Because you just remember being in that moment. You was like, oh, it's like that? Okay, right? So you already just don't like her off the strength of just the first thing she did from the opening scene. And I think, I know you agree with me, but Sydney didn't feel that way. Like, the film jumped right into that, right? Because that was pretty much the opening
No, it jumped
scene.
in, but I don't think that was the plot. Like,
But it clearly is, though. Like
it's like, so, but like, what is it? I guess I'm just like confused on what the movie is trying to do.
it's trying to show, though.
It shows affairs lead to murder.
No, not to Sydney.
Is I'm dead serious. Is that the movie?
No, it's
Is your love is so strong you'll kill?
No.
Instead of getting divorced?
It's just these. Well, it is till death do us part, though, right? There
So
is
till
there
death
is
do us
that
part.
there is that
And we got
aspect,
some deaths
and
along
she
the way.
wasn't necessarily understanding that aspect, but he did. He was willing to do anything, and she was willing to do anything to get out of the relationship, right?
I
She
think
would-
I
she
think
would-
that was like a turn on for her. The fact that he wanted her so bad that he would stay with
No,
her.
not really, because she called him spineless. She didn't think that he had enough.
No, I think there's something to that.
Yeah, I think was when
Yeah.
he said that she was a turn. That was a turn on.
It is because she was getting off on the fact that he's gonna go out and kill instead of just get a divorce. Like so that's like that was her game.
Yeah, but she was like, but you're not man enough. You're not man enough.
That was how she. But that's how she would put him down.
But this is what me and Eric are saying
Hold
though.
on, let him go.
Once she found out, Blair, that's why I feel like once she found out that this nigga was really killing for her, like first it was just like, he's gonna like threaten him, like like he doesn't really do too much,
But the real killing got her excited.
Yeah.
It found out, it was like, oh, damn, like you serious? Like it was over for her,
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna stay married, it's more stuff.
Well, not this, but here's my thing though, right? I don't think that she initially connected the two. I'm telling you, this movie's deeper than you think, because you see how
I don't see
how
it.
we going here, right? But so check it. So check it.
I'm
right?
not in the deep water.
The day that it all goes.
Lift it up, I can barely hear.
Okay, so the day it all goes down, right? She packed the bags and was ready to dip, correct?
Yeah.
But it took the daughter to finally get her to really realize that y'all are both toxic, y'all are both complicated, that y'all really need to just stay together. Because remember, the daughter went and took the luggage and threw that mug straight in the pool and was like, we ain't going anywhere. Because right then and there, she was ready to dip. She was ready to dip. I don't think that the murder really turned her on, because she went and got the private investigator. She was trying to get him locked up. She was trying to do stuff. But at the same time, it can be that, because that's what toxic women do, right? They play with both sides of your emotion. They play with both sides of their head, right? They'll turn around and play victim, but then at the same time, like flipping on you. So I do think, in a way, what you guys are saying, like you could see how she gets excited by it, but then at the same time, Huh?
Yeah, but they provided us the writer and the visuals. Yes, I understand what you're saying for sure. Like,
Yeah.
that private investigator and everything.
Yeah.
And to add on that, what did y'all think about went that thing and then was like, got to go.
I already told Sydney.
Yeah,
I already told Sydney. How stupid was he when he was driving and texting like, babe, I told you. I was like, what? Wait. I told you. And I didn't even put him up to any of this. It's just insane. Am I right?
Yeah. That thing was hilarious, yo.
But I gave that as a negative point to the film, because I was like, I'm sitting here watching and he's driving on roads that are 4x4, barely big enough for a car to fit on, and the roads are wet, and he's swerving, and he want to send text. Mind you, the phone falls under the seat, and he's reaching under there, takes his head down and looks while still driving. I was like, this isn't even remotely what somebody on the run for their life would be doing.
You running from a dude on a bike.
On a bike, of all things.
That ain't gonna catch you. You in a car.
Hey, that was so hilarious.
I know. I was laughing too. I was really watching that scene like, they really wrote this in the movie.
Oh.
Another good part that I liked was that was kind of funny to me, that was good, was his daughter, the relationship that he had with his daughter
Thank you.
was just dope.
Thank you.
It was just dope to me, because it's like kid.
Cutting out a little bit.
They just.
Well, just summarize it for him. He
Mhm.
essentially kind of liked that relationship with his daughter
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah. Hey, you cut out a little bit, but you agreeing with me though, right? Just about that relationship and how it's like she was like pretty intelligent though, right?
Yeah, her knowing, yeah, I know you could. They asked me.
Yes. That's really, these are the things I told Cindy before you even hopped on here, and you know we didn't even text about it, but it's just like.
The only thing I hit you about was is you like it, you like, nah, I'm about to go in. I'm like, I'm
About to go in, yeah, cause she had me hot from beginning to end. I was just like, man, she's so disrespectful. Like, yeah.
But
just how can you move that?
Yeah.
But one thing before we let you go, Ledge, I feel like, I mean, obviously you guys thought this was a good film, but I feel like maybe y'all projected some scenarios onto this film from personal experience, and maybe that's kind of like making you guys dig deeper into what's happening, because to me and the other people I've talked to, reviews that I've read, it was very just maybe dry, straight to the point. But again, I think a film is supposed to evoke some emotion out of you and make you feel a certain type of way, because that's why I didn't touch on her performance, right, Blair? I didn't touch on it.
No, you did.
Because we are supposed to be annoyed.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm like, let me not knock her, let me not get on her, because we're supposed to be frustrated with everything that she's doing.
Correct.
But I think, yeah, if you've been in similar situations like this, maybe you can take away something more from this movie rather than someone on the outskirts, like just looking at this movie trying to look for a thriller.
Yeah.
I can definitely say yes.
Yeah. Okay. But anyway, Ledge, any final thoughts before we wrap here?
Do you want to get his rating for it?
Oh, yeah, all right. We'll take you into the ratings with us.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to the ratings segment. People, let's start with the tomatoes. The Rotten Tomatoes. It was not good. I don't recall what it is. It's popping up here. 37% rotten, and then a 22% audience score. So it got obliterated at the box office. Straight obliterated. And, I'm kind of leaning in that direction. Let's go into the IMDb real quick. IMDb was a little bit more friendly. They gave it a 5.4. So that's middle of the road. But to be good, we really need a 6 and up. We need a 6 and up. So let's go, Blair, on entertainment, 1 to 5.
4.
Wow. Eric, he went 4 on entertainment. 1 to 5, Eric, on entertainment. I feel like you're gonna be right there too.
I might have to go 5.
This is a horrendous take right now. This is out of control. He said 5. Entertainment for me, 1 to 5. I'm going 1. And I don't even rate movies low. Like, I don't rate movies low. I really don't. Blair, you know I be on here just favorable as heck. I'm going 1. I'm sorry. I'll be favorable. Let's go 1 to 5 originality. Eric, you go. Originality, 1 to 5. Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna say like a 3.
It was pretty. That's the one thing that'll probably save it. But go, Eric.
Yeah, I'll say like a 3.5. 0.5.
Why are you you getting that real solid number, huh?
Yeah,
Getting down to the brass tack.
Right there.
All right. Blair's getting a sip here, so I'll go 1 to 5 originality. I mean, look, is it original? Yes. But at the same time, it's bland. Like, it's just it's a thesis statement or a hypothesis that you put on the screen. You said, what about a movie where he kills her, his wife's boyfriends? So to me, that's not deep enough. Yeah. So it is original, but I have to shave off some points because it was just a blatant statement.
Yeah.
And just so bland, I'm gonna have to go 2.5.
Okay.
Blair, go.
So for me, when it comes down to the originality, I just think about, now the film doesn't necessarily execute, right? So I'm already gonna shave off a point for that. But I think that the film was, fairly enjoyable. I think that the lack of dialogue that the film did have makes it stand a little bit on the more original side. Of course, there's plenty of films that are not that do not have dialogue and have done better, right? But it was a positive take for me, right? As far as originality goes, and on top of that, I think that it was different because traditionally, I guess you would get this like more traditional plot, and by the middle, maybe he would be more violent towards her. You would see that maybe he would be trying to kill her and she'd be running for her life, right? And would that film be more entertaining? Yes. But then as far as originality goes, it wouldn't be nearly as high as what we're talking about right now. So with all that being said, I think that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give it a 3.
3? So you got it at a 7.
I have it at a 7 out of 10.
I have it at a 3.5 out of 10. Eric's got, what, 9.5?
I think he said...
No, 8.5, right?
Yeah, he's got an 8.5 out of 10.
8.5. So that averages out. Look, if it's the Slate Laced crew, y'all seeing the movie tonight. Y'all watching Deepwater. So we also want to add in whether they go see it. Eric, do they watch it tonight, yes or no?
Yes.
Blair.
I do. But you also know why.
Yes?
Yes, I do say they watch it. But I mean, you also know why they call it deep water too, right?
No, like hot water?
Just, yes, the amount of trouble that he continuously gets himself into.
Yeah, hot water.
Right.
Okay.
But also that every single body was in some water.
Okay. Got some little, it's got some...
like I said, I think that people didn't necessarily watch it with their scopes
No, they
on.
definitely didn't.
I don't think they really watched it with their scopes on.
Because they were so busy being confused about why they would pick this movie in the first place. So Eric says yes.
I say
absolutely. Yes.
I say absolutely. But another thing.
Can I go?
Hang on. I did want to say though, I didn't like the font in the beginning, how it went into the water. I thought it was a little bit weak with the opening of the film.
Okay, so again, Eric says yes, Blair says yes, he didn't like the lettering.
Yes.
I say heck no, go watch Ambulance instead. Cause this ain't it.
I think you need to watch it again.
Anyway, I'll never watch this ever again and waste my time. Never. But on that note, Eric, we letting you go. We'll see you in the next review. Later. Bye to the peeps. We probably gonna do something. Some shoes next. So we'll touch back with you because I know you got some cops.
I sold some stuff. You mean?
And Blair sold some, but Eric got something.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see you.
All
All right, later.
right.
There
There it is.
But yeah, so we'll probably touch on some shoes. I know Legend copped a couple things. I don't got nothing to show, but there's some new releases coming out we can obviously touch on. Blair's gonna give us a history on what has finally made a sale there. I
finally made a sale.
So we'll get into that, and then we'll be back next week with more movies to review. There's some heat. I think there's heat in the theater right now. I still kind of want to see that Lost City with Sandra Bullock, but it's playing like in select theaters all of a sudden.
Yeah, I did see that.
I was like, dang, you can't go anywhere.
And I'm gonna go tomorrow.
What you watching?
I'm not sure what I'm gonna watch, but have you been to? When's the last time you went to the movies?
To see Ambulance. It was like last week.
Did you go to the one over there?
Yeah.
Do they? What do they do when you go in?
What do you mean?
Do they still check you when you go in?
Like your bags? No.
No, I mean, do they do the whole? Are they still doing the whole COVID procedure there?
Oh, I don't think so. I don't believe so.
Okay. I was just curious.
I don't think it was. I think
You
they
don't
just
got to do
let
like
you
masks
in.
and stuff anymore.
No, it was definitely no mask. We was out there just
returning to normal.
Yeah, in the willy nilly of it all.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, Ambulance is good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's the one I say we should review next.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a right now for me it's the best movie of 2022.
Dang.
But I mean, what has been out though? Also, you got ain't really deep water. So we'll get to it, but we'll get to that. But first, the next stop is definitely gonna be some shoes because we got to get into that. We got to see what Blair's making some money back on. So what's his ROI, return on investment? We'll see.
We know that ROI is high over here.
But yeah, Blair, anything else before we wrap here? Anything to say to the people?
Not at all.
All right, well, that's it for us. It is the Slate Laced Gang. We're out.